The Assimilation Policy. The governments in the 1930s said children had to be taken away from their parents because the influence of their own communities was immoral and they were in danger of abuse and neglect. But the real agenda then was to de-Aboriginalise them. Michael Anderson, the Aboriginal leader. In 1937, from the 21st to 23rd of April, the Aboriginal Welfare Conference of Commonwealth and State authorities was called by the federal government. It decided that the official policy for some Aboriginal people is the Assimilation Policy. Aboriginal people of mixed descent are to be assimilated into white society whether they want to be or not. Those not living tribally are to be educated and all others are to stay on reserves. In the late 1940s, Australia was still a very British country. 97% of the population was Australian or British born. It became official government policy in Australia not just for Aboriginal people but for all foreign migrants as well. People of Aboriginal descent had no rights and no say when it came to the removal of their children. Many families were destroyed and nothing was done to prevent this from happening. People who helped the government, churches and institutions believed that what they were doing was the right thing. Their children were taught to reject their Aboriginality and their culture. They were told that it was shameful to be Aboriginal. Put yourself in their position. You are a small child living in your own country with your own family. You have a culture, speak your own language, have your own beliefs, and are happy. Until one day everything changes. Without warning, you are taken from your family. You don't want to go, but you aren't given a choice. The people that take you away tell you that the things that you have believed your whole life and the language that you speak is wrong. You just want to see your family, but no, you never will. You are taught another language and forced to believe in certain things you have never heard about, and you are being looked at differently. How would you feel? How would you cope?
Children who have been removed from their families were disadvantaged in several ways. It was found that many Aboriginals who had been taken away from their families experienced depression, had a very low self-esteem, were more likely to come to the attention of the police as they grew into adolescence, were more vulnerable, weren't able to retain links with their land, suffered from mental illnesses, and were not aware of their culture as they were always taught to reject their Aboriginality. A statement from the Aboriginal Congress captivates the monstrosity experienced by Aboriginals as a result of the Assimilation Policy. During the times of conquest and assimilation, our women were often raped or sexually used by these invaders. Children born from these encounters were taken away to distant parts of the country where they were isolated from their country, family, and culture. These are the stolen generations. Our people are still feeling the profound ill effects from this practice. By 1964, it became clear that assimilation was not working as it should. The rise of an indigenous protest movement in the 1960s meant that more people were aware of the discrimination that was being perpetrated against the indigenous population. In an area of liberalization, assimilation no longer seemed to be the right policy to pursue. Instead, many people came to see integration as a better way to move forward.